So, when it comes to Transformers, there are good figures, there are definitely bad figures, but what about the figures that fall in between? Figures that aren't necessarily good, but aren't necessarily bad. They definitely do exist. However, sometimes there's one of those figures that falls into that category so much in the middle it's frustrating. Hello guys, welcome to a new review, and today we're going to be taking a look at Transformers Earthrise Hoist. Starting off in alt mode as always, Hoist doesn't look too terrible. It's generally a nice looking little truck. This is removable, and overall, as representation of I can't remember the exact name. It's a Toyota truck, I know, but it's generally a decent representation. One thing that you may notice, though, is that the color mismatch between the painted sections and the actual plastic sections is atrocious. Like, seriously, this looks like it's made of rubber. It's not, of course, but looks like it. Overall, it is an alright little vehicle mode. Until you get to the undercarriage kibble. His entire legs, his waist section, and his lower arms, with the hands exposed, are just hanging out the bottom. And other than that, he's pretty clean. By opening up these little panels right here and swinging this out, you do get an extension for the little ramp system right there. The only two other figures I can think of right off the top of my head that have that I own are Double Dealer and Optimus. But generally, it's not terrible. You can plug the gun on the side, and you can also take the floodlight, flip the floodlight out, but that's more meant for robot mode. On to size comparison. Here he is with his wave mate, Earthrise Cliff Jumper, and you can definitely see the size difference. Hoist is actually a bit oversized for a deluxe, meanwhile Cliff Jumper is extremely undersized. But yeah, they generally look fine together. Here he is with all spark power crankcase, and yeah, crankcase definitely makes him look a little wimpy, that's for sure. But yeah, crankcase is an older deluxe, so yeah. But generally, they could look a little better together, but they're fine. I don't really mind them looking so different. But generally, Hoist's alt mode is fine. It's nothing stellar, but at the same time, it's nothing awful. There could be some major improvements on it, but it's generally not terrible. On to transformation. Hoist's robot mode is where most of his issues come into play. First off, his accessories comes with this, which can very simply go over his hand. It's not necessarily toy accurate or show accurate, it's just kind of there. But generally this robot mode has... It doesn't look bad, it looks fine. But in general, it has some major issues. To begin with, his entire torso section is completely empty. There is straight up nothing to fill that in. I'm really not the kind of guy who complains about hollowness, but that is not acceptable. It makes him feel, like, scarily light with how big he is for Deluxe. Another issue that I have actually takes us into articulation. His head is on a ball joint. Waist is on a swivel. However, it is hindered by his backpack. Back and forth, in and out at the legs, 2 bends at the knee, and a massive foot pivot, which is nice. However, then we get into the arms. Notice how these can go in and out, but they can't go back and forth. That's because... Yes! His primary arm joint is part of the massive panels hanging off the back of his arm. So every time you try to pose him, these get in the way. It is so annoying, and the fact that they're just kind of... And the fact that there's no way of folding them up or anything just makes it so frustrating. Like, ugh. But other than that, he has a bicep swivel, bend at the elbow, and a wrist swivel. Generally, articulation in concept isn't terrible, but in execution, with the fact that the actual arm itself can only go in and out, and going back and forth is built into the panels hanging off his arms, it just makes him a pain to pose. In addition to that, he has some major balancing issues he can have some major balancing issues when it comes to specific poses. And it doesn't help that mine has kind of loose knees. Not overly loose, but loose enough to where they're a hindrance when it comes to posing. Yeah. Now, there are some ways that you could have improved this figure, but but I'll get to those in the final thoughts. On to size comparison. Here he is with Earthrise Cliffjumper, and yeah, this definitely brings into view the fact that Cliffjumper is incredibly undersized. And like I said, Hoist is very oversized. Actually, well, comparison here he is with Clobber, since she's kind of on my desk. But, yeah, just... I'll get more into this in Cliffjumper's review, when I eventually do that. But, yeah, Hoist is a little oversized for Deluxe. And here he is with Crankcase, and Crankcase is very stumpy, like, even compared to most average Deluxes, he's stumpy, but he feels significantly heavier than Hoist. Like, he is a chonky boy. And this is more along the lines of what I expect Hoist to feel like. But overall, like I said, Hoist is very oversized for a modern Deluxe. So, yeah. Final thoughts on Hoist. This figure should have been a lot better. He's not terrible, but he's definitely not good. He's a good figure in concept, but all the flaws, from the empty torso to the messed up arms, just makes it to where he's such a hard figure to like, which sucks, because I really want to like this figure, but I just can't because all of the flaws get in the way. Another flaw is, like, this entire section right here is done up in clear plastic. It's painted clear plastic. And fellow reviewer Firebite, his hoist actually broke when he put his hand down on it. The little strut that holds the wheel on snapped clean off. And that shouldn't happen with a figure like this. Especially with a vital part like that, which is the biggest problem with Hasbro's current obsession with clear plastic. It just breaks too easily. It's not made to hold up. But there are so many small fixes that could have been made for this figure. For instance, having the wheels fold up into the torso to help fill it in a bit. Having the arm panels fold up, or just having them fold up into the backpack. That could have helped posability so much. There is a good figure in here, but all the flaws just really keep it from breaking out. Anyway, generally he's fine. Very flawed, but he's fine. You can find him for like half off. I would say maybe pick him up. But yeah, I guess I'll see you guys next time. Bye.